An almost totally forgotten cop buddy flick from the 80s? Was it any good? Okay, everybody, today we're going all the way back to 1986 to look at, like I said, a little cop buddy movie that seems to be forgotten in the annals of times and really never gets any attention. Let's try to shed some light on that. Maybe find out why. Anyway, we're talking about 1986's Running Scared. Before we go any further, before we dig into this gem anymore, once and again, and as always, do the trailer.
Let me tell you something. When you've been cops this long, you are not fit for anything else.
We're looking for some new career challenges.
Yeah, something with a future. Show me another career they let you shoot people. Give us your money.
You're mugging us?
I don't believe it.
You better believe it or you're dead. Oh, come on, let us keep the driver's licenses and the snapshots.
And our badges.
I can't believe that you missed all 6 shots.
What are you talking about? I hit the windshield 6 times in a row.
I'm the one who made him swerve.
Oh, you made him sweat.
Yes,
You
sir.
always aim low anyway.
Oh, good. Nagging me now. Nagging is good. You owe me $10 and I never said anything.
You want it now?
Yeah, I want it now.
Did I come at a bad time?
Follow that car.
Oh, now you're gonna criticize my driving?
Well, it's just that you get to do all the dangerous stuff and I get to parallel park.
I love this job.
I like this motion picture was directed by Peter Hyams. Hyams. It doesn't make a difference. I do this every time I review one of his movies, and I've done numerous of his movies already, so let's go down memory lane. We're talking about he did The Relic. We're talking about he did 2010. He did Outland, and Time Cop, and End of Days, and The Musketeer, and A Sound of Thunder, and The Presidio, and Stay Tuned, and The Star Chamber, and Hanover Street, and Capricorn 1. I literally think I've done like at least 4 other of his movies at one point or another. It doesn't matter. He's here again. We're going to take a look at it. Okay, everybody, this cast is big. This cast is huge. This cast is awesome. Let's get down to business. We're talking about playing Ray, Gregory Hines. You know, I've talked about him before. This guy was a triple threat. Could sing, could dance, could do everything. Let's go down the line. We're talking, he was in History of the World Part 1. He was in Wolfen and the Cotton Club and Deal of the Century, White Knights, Off Limits, A Rage in Harlem, Eve of Destruction, Mad Dog Time, and tons of TV. You know, Little Bill, Will and Grace, Lost at Home. He even had the Gregory Hines show. So, died way too early. Guy was super talented, is what it was. Playing Danny, Billy Crystal. One time, this guy was a pretty big player. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking City Slickers. We're talking he was in Analyze This and Analyze That. And When Harry Met Sally, which was huge, and Forget Paris, Mr. Saturday Night, Memories of Me, This is Spinal Tap, Rabbit Test, Father's Day, I'm Still Here, and TV, Frasier, Larry Sanders Show. He popped up on Love Boat and all that kind of crap. And, of course, he's Jody Dallas from Soap, which was a hilariously funny show back in the day. I mean, it was really pushing boundaries for its time. Funny, slightly dirty, whatever, is what it was. Let's keep moving. Playing Anna, Darlanne Fluegel. She was a model, not a huge career, is what it was. So let's get rolling. She was in Lockup. She was in Tough Guys and Deadly Stranger and Battle Beyond the Stars and The Last Flight, Freeway, you know, To Live and Die in L.A., and TV, you know, Hunter, Crime Story, Wise Guy. Remember that show with Kevin Wall? It's been long since forgotten, but is what it was. She passed away a few years ago. Kind of sad, is what it is. Let's keep moving. And playing Snake, Joe Pantoliano. Hope I said that right. I love this guy, man. He's been in like a zillion friggin' flicks. All great stuff. Let's do this. He was in The Matrix. He was in Bad Boys and Memento and The Idolmaker and Risky Business, The Goonies, La Bamba, Midnight Run, The Mean Season, which I love, and Eddie and the Cruisers, which I love, and Used People, and The Fugitive, and U.S. Marshals, and Ready to Rumble, and tons and tons and tons of TV work, and a little movie with Jennifer Tilly. Bound. You should look up Bound. Playing plane, Captain Logan. Dan Hedaya. Come on. Alien Resurrection, even though that was shit. Also, he was in stuff like The Usual Suspects and Wise Guys and Commando and Tightrope and Clueless and Mulholland Drive and Blood Simple and The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and Reckless and The Hunger and Joe versus the Volcano and tons of TV, including Cheers, and of course they had his own little run, The Tortellis. Didn't really go anywhere, but it was a takeoff on the characters from Cheers, is what it was. Anyway, he's been in a million things. And playing Julio, Jimmy Smits. Yeah, he's been tied up. He's done some things with the Star Wars franchise for a little bit. He's done stuff like Bless His Child, but he's really a TV guy. So let's go down memory lane. We're talking about he has been on little things like L.A. Law and The West Wing and NYPD Blue, Dexter, Sons of Anarchy, Outlaw, The Get Down, How to Get Away with Murder, East New York. So he's really a TV guy. That's where his bones are. That's where he's made his fame, is what it was. And there was also a massive amount, and I mean massive amount of other players in this. I can't go through all their shit. We'll be here all goddamn day. But let's just nail some of the few. We're talking about people like Stephen Bauer. Come on. You all know Scarface. It's just the way it goes. And of course, John Gries, who was in Napoleon Dynamite, Real Genius, Get Shorty. Don Calfa, who was in Foul Play, Return of the Living Dead. Robert Lesser, come on, 2010, Die Hard, The Relic. John DeSanti, Simon, Cagney and Lacey. He was in even low-budget flicks like King Frat. Larry Hankin, Home Alone, Pretty Woman. And finally, the granddaddy of them all, Al Leong. Come on. Big Trouble, Die Hard. He was in so many movies. And please go out and watch Awesome Asian Bad Guys. I mean, he was in that. It's great. You got to go check it out. Anyway, there's even more than that. There's all kinds of faces and all kinds of names. Just keep looking. Some have bigger roles. Some have smaller roles. It doesn't make a difference. You're going to see a shitload of people pop up in this thing. Okay, everybody, we're going to do this in 90 seconds. Let's keep it short, keep it fast, keep it entertaining, keep it moving, so we get to where we'd much rather be, the summation. And I'm telling you now, the plot to this thing is so ridiculously simplistic that basically I can do this in probably 45 seconds, but we're going to make it fast anyway. Anyway, the movie starts out, you got these two guys, turns out they're undercover cops watching some dudes play basketball, when all of a sudden, literally 18 feet from them, a guy that they busted before, Julio, and another dude that they know, Snake, are doing a transaction. They chase him down, blah, blah, blah. They grab Snake, and they wind up through hook or crook and kind of blackmail Snake and all this other kind of stuff to wear a wire to see what their boy Julio has been up to and to see what new deals he's got going on. Because they found Snake with 50 grand in a briefcase. It's not normal. Whatever, it is what it is. So anyway, Snake wears a wire. They go out. They think they're going to bust Julio, but it's a double cross, and Snake has them dead to rights and all kinds of shit. They're about to die, whatever, until you find out that a couple of the people that were working for Julio, they're undercover cops, just like them. Anyway, long story short, they screw up the big heist because, well, you know, they got involved in something they shouldn't have, and they didn't check with the other guys downtown. Doesn't make a difference. Is what it is. Captain gets a little bit mad. Long story short, about some more things that take place. It doesn't make a difference. They get sent on vacation where they go down to Florida, and they decide that they're going to open up a bar and retire. Well, they come back, and, you know, Billy Crystal tells his ex-wife, who still loves him and is marrying this mystery dentist that we never see or never hear of, and she looks kind of upset that he's going to be leaving. He's going to actually be quitting the police force because he was always just an overgrown child, and that's why she left him in the first place. Long story short, movie rolls on. There's a bunch of chases. There's a bunch of crap going on where they're trying to get Julio the bad guy. They're trying to figure out what he's doing. Oh, they go out and they arrest a priest and a nun for bringing stuff over the border, and it turns out to be giant mounds of cocaine in a suitcase shaped like dolls. You get the idea. You've seen all this before. Anyway, they have the big final fight out with Julio. Right after, by the way, he kidnaps Billy Crystal's wife and has her hostages. You give me my coke, I give you your ex-wife. That kind of shit. Seen it all before. Anyway, there's a big shootout, a big showdown. I'm not going to tell you what happens. I will tell you that they bring in the other two cops who they foiled their heist on, make them the young cops replacing the older cops, and now they're a dual set of cops, and whatever. You get the idea. There's a shootout in a building. Do they rescue the ex-wife, or soon-to-be wife again, obviously? Does anybody wind up passing away, the new cops, the old cops? Is what it is. Does Jimmy Smits actually bite the big one as the head baddie? You've seen all this shit before. It is what it is. The story is about as original as a pair of Converse sneakers. So, let's just get to the summation. Okay, everybody, does running scared work. Yeah, but there's negatives, there's positives, but there's negatives. Let's get the big three out of the way first. The directing, the movie looks beautiful. That's one of the big selling points, actually. Hyams actually made this thing look great. His cinematography, his angles, all that kind of stuff. You've seen his shit before. He's a top-level director. Everything in this was shot beautifully. So the apartment scenes, the outdoor scenes, the Florida scenes, everything is picturesque and looks great. Directing is far, 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 far from a problem in this motion picture. The writing, it's okay. Keep in mind, this is a straight-up comedy. It's a comedy. For the better or for worse, and we'll touch on that in a few minutes. So, the writing is what it is. Some of the jokes land and they're really good. Some of it feels forced and over the top. The writing's hit and miss. It's more good than bad, but it is what it is. The acting. You got top flight people in this. That's all there is to it. They're top flight people. Yes, some of it at times can be a little bit over the top, and we'll touch on that. But, you know, for the kind of motion picture this is, a buddy cop movie that's really a comedy in the vein of like Tango and Cash or some shit like that, it's not bad. So the acting is what it is. Gregory Hines is always great. Billy Crystal delivers. Dan Hedaya is really funny in it too. So the acting's fine. No problems. Okay, so does this motion picture work and am I recommending it? Yes, it works, and yes, I'm recommending it. I'm just saying keep your expectations within limits. I still remember going to see this motion picture in 1986 in the local theater, and I liked it. I thought it was funny. Watching it again the other night, it feels a bit dated, and it feels a little bit over the top, but then again, that was the 80s. You get what you paid for back then, and that's one of the things about this motion picture that you're going to have to get used to. There is a bit of too much 80s in it. First off, other than a great song by Michael McDonald being used in this thing, by the way, the rest of the soundtrack is pure shit. It is 80s techno, whatever shit. That stuff might work in a movie like, you know, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon or something, where it's supposed to be about that kind of stuff. But when you watch this movie now, and you're hearing that synth pop crap soundtrack, in a movie that otherwise would feel completely timeless, and completely could take place then, could take place now, it didn't make a difference. The music dates it. So it's one of those things where once you're going into this, even during the opening credits where you're sitting there and listening to all the whatever that shit is, it might throw you for a second, but, you know, just try to let that pass. Also, because this is a comedy, there's never any real sense of drama. Let's be realistic. You never feel that there's any danger to anybody in this motion picture. You realize everybody's going to make it through this thing. You realize nobody's going to die. You can't, because it's that kind of movie. So it kind of robs any real sense of drama. Again, some of the humor is fun, and it's funny, but it takes it away from being a real cop movie, or even a semi-real cop movie. Like, you take something like Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon had some humor in it, but it still stayed kind of gritty and made you feel like you were watching something, and you were like, what's going to happen? What's going to take place here? How's this going to end? This motion picture, you're getting 3 times as much comedy, but at the same time, you're not getting any of the drama. You're not getting any of that sense of anything can go wrong any second. It's just really just watching it go from scene to scene to scene to scene, to watch the quips going back and forth, you know, between Danny and between Ray. That's what it's really about, just checking those things out and seeing it. So don't look for something that you're on edge of your seat suspense. You're just looking to watch something that's there to make you laugh, a la, you know, Beverly Hills Cop, a la Tango and Cash, a la maybe even 48 Hours, even though that was much grittier. So you have to take it for what it is and sit down and just be like, okay, this is entertainment. On the plus side, I think Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines work together fine. I think they can really make some cool chemistry, and they look good on the screen together. You throw in the straight man of Dan Hedaya, and, you know, it's a good combination. Again, there's nothing original in this. We've seen it a million times before, but for what it is, it does have some good chemistry. It does have some good moments. There are some funny one-lines, but at the same time, they take it too far. Where even in the most insane shootout scenes, they're arguing and making jokes. People are getting shot, they're making jokes, it's funny. It's so far removed from any kind of reality that, again, no suspense, no drama, just fun, just action, And just silly moments lined up one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. On the technical side of movie making, there's a few things that just kind of drive me nuts. The whole car chase scene down the L train or whatever the hell they're doing is borderline ridiculous, especially with the sped up, view camera shit going on. You're kind of like, what? That kind of looks silly. And for the love of God, I know it's supposed to be Chicago, and I know it's supposed to be always snowing out and doing that. But whoever was in charge of the fake snow whipped cream gun or whatever the hell they had, they just sprayed it around aimlessly, and you're like, I know that's not real snow. I know that's not real snow. I know. It looks like kids ran through with a shaving cream can and just sprayed all over the goddamn place. So there's some things like that just look shitty, even though Hyams is framing it beautifully and lighting it great. There's little things that are going to jump out at you like, what? That looks bad. And of course there's other things, that they can just smash into other police officers' cars and trash them as a joke and nobody cares. You can actually see the scenes where they're going in and taking their beat up piece of shit cop car and having it turned into a bulletproof super tank of a taxi cab. And it's done in 48 hours. Again. None of this feels real. None of this feels like it could actually take place. It's just one of those movies. Of course, you have Jimmy Smits as the master villain, who, strangely in this motion picture, just feels like not much of a master and not much of a villain. I mean, he's the guy they're going after. And of course, they have the scenes where, he easily could kill them, but he doesn't, and he throws them into a trash compactor and all this other kind of silly shit. Again, the story is a very minimalistic story meant to feel like there's this big crime syndicate that these two guys are busting, but you never really get that. You see Jimmy Smits with his henchmen, but every time there's a drug dealer going down, he's doing it himself in person, just so there's a chase scene, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. So, again, suspend all disbelief, or belief, whatever that means, and you gotta roll with it. So in closing, where are we? If you want to watch a movie that's kind of largely been forgotten when it comes to 80 buddy cop flicks, and get a good laugh at times, with a great cast, a good director, some funny moments, some funny one-liners, you can watch this and enjoy it. If you're looking for anything that makes any sense, if you're anything into the world of even slight reality, if you're looking for a real sense of drama or tension, then this motion picture is not going to give you what you're looking for. It's meant to be watched when you're in a goofy mood. You can walk in and out of the story and go in the kitchen or the bathroom without even hitting the pause button, and you're still not really going to miss anything. Then this is the motion picture for you. It's a flashback in time with a couple decent lead guys and a really good director, giving you a semi-acceptable comedy with no realism in it at all. But again, it was the 80s. Alright everybody, be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. Be kind to a stranger. Be there for a friend. But most of all, never, and I mean never, take any bullshit from anybody. See you soon.